Good evening, everyone. I'm Kim Murphy. Thank you for joining us. I'm joined by Sojourner's Carmen Petrie, and we thank you for joining us to shine your light for domestic violence survivors.
Hi, Kim. It's great to be with you. It's an honor to be here. We've been celebrating survivors all day long during this special day of giving. And thanks to a group of generous donors, all donations made tonight through midnight will be matched, doubling the impact of your gift. You can make a gift right now if you'd like. The donation option is right there below this window. So far, we've raised $51,484, and we're hoping to top $150 by midnight tonight.
That donation match is fantastic, and we want to tell you more. Tonight is all about showing our support for survivors and celebrating their strength. Use the live chat feature or text us 262-200-9747 to send messages of encouragement, to show your support, or even just to say hi. We want to hear from you. Again, text us a selfie, a message, your support, 262-200-9747. Why are we here tonight? The headlines are jarring.
No mother want to get that phone call. He was only 12.
Carmen, so many lives lost.
It's very difficult to watch the headlines and to hear that mother. You know, a lot of people think domestic violence is a private matter or an issue that affects only other people. But in reality, it's much more prevalent than you might think. Statistically speaking, I guarantee that you know someone who is being hurt, and likely you know someone who is hurting others. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will be impacted by intimate partner violence in their lifetime. The statistics are staggering. This means domestic violence affects every family, yours, mine, everyone. I hope this program helps our viewers reflect on their own families, their relationships, and sparks critical conversations about how we treat one another.
And domestic abuse isn't just physical violence. It can be emotional, it can be verbal.
That's right. Domestic abuse can include physical violence, but not always, verbal, emotional. Digital abuse, stalking, financial abuse, sexual abuse, or coercion are just as dangerous. In 1/3 of domestic violence-related deaths, the murder was the first, only, and last act of physical violence.
And domestic violence, we know, happens in all kinds of relationships.
That's right. This issue does not discriminate. People of every age, race, gender, zip code are all affected. It doesn't matter if you're well off or living in poverty. Domestic violence can impact anyone.
Domestic violence is on the rise, but we also know from recent stories the abuse isn't just between spouses or partners. Family violence is also on the rise.
That's true, Kim. We're seeing more violence among family members than in recent years, violence and murders between siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, parents, and even grandparents. Last year, over 50 lives were lost to domestic violence, including 9 children. That was a 400% increase in just 2 years.
In 2021, the pandemic continues. What are you seeing?
Well, you know, everything's worse, I think, for survivors. In part, we've seen an increase in domestic violence-related deaths for the past 3 years. It was increasing before the pandemic. So far this year, we've had 28 lives lost in Milwaukee County. This trend is very concerning. And this is proving to be another tragic year. The pandemic has created urgent new challenges for our community. Job insecurity, economic uncertainty, stress around schooling and childcare, not to mention the physical and mental health toll. Many of us live in pressure cooker situations, but for people living in violent circumstances, everything has been made worse by COVID. There's more uncertainty, more fear, more isolation. I'm very concerned about the isolation. Unfortunately, as we know, home is not always a safe place.
And we've all learned that, the pandemic bringing that to light for us. So many lives lost. It's heartbreaking. The depths of those losses is simply unimaginable. Right now, we want to do something to remember the lives that have been lost to domestic violence this year and years before in southeastern Wisconsin. We want to hold a moment of silence.
So as I sit in silence, I always remember the courage and resilience and strength of survivors. We have 10,000 people who come through our doors at Sojourner every year, and every single one of them, we have a group of survivors watching tonight who are here. Every single one of them are filled with courage and resilience. And when I hold silence, it just reminds me to remember that strength is in our community. You know, at Sojourner, we're on the front line of this issue every single day. I'm so proud of our team, and I'm full of gratitude for the outpouring of support from the community. We have remained open and operational throughout the pandemic, even when our city had to shut down. We never stopped. We had to modify how we provide services, offering virtual support groups, helping file restraining orders online, which I thought could never be done. And we have taken steps to safeguard survivors and staff so we could provide services as safely as possible. And this has all been made possible in large part due to the help from the community and our donor support. But we're weathering the storm pretty well, no matter how hard it's been during COVID. We're so very grateful to our generous supporters, many of whom are watching right now.
And we want to say again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your support. Your continued support is important. If you've already made a Shine Your Light gift, thank you. And if you haven't yet, do so by midnight to take advantage of the match. If you make a donation, say of $50, that match will be doubled. So we're talking 50 grows into $100. So your gift made through midnight tonight actually has double the impact. Thank you, match sponsors. And speaking of that, this match is possible thanks to the generosity of the Argosy Foundation, Brewers Community Foundation, BMO Harris Bank, MGIC, and the Yabuki Family Foundation. Thank you to our match sponsors.
You know, Kim, the funds we raise tonight helps provide life-saving services to thousands of domestic violence survivors and their families, including our work with high-risk survivors.
And I noticed that you say survivors, not victims.
You know, we do that intentionally. The word victim, I think, can undermine the tremendous strength and resilience and courage that we see in survivors. And so we use survivors to really point the arrow at what is, you know, true and real, that survivors are full of courage, resilience, hope, and strength.
And three things, we're going to say this a couple times tonight, three things you always tell survivors.
I always make a point of saying to survivors, you are not alone, it's not your fault, and we're here to help. I think everyone in our community can say those three things. You're not alone, it's not your fault, and we're here to help.
We are here to help. Carmen, tell us more about Sojourner's services because it goes well beyond just an emergency shelter.
Well, we're the largest service provider of domestic violence intervention and prevention services in Wisconsin, and we've been around for 50 years. We have an anniversary coming up. We provide safety, advocacy, and healing, and we provide services in three primary areas: crisis housing, 53-bed shelter, system, hotline services, 24-hour hotline, systems advocacy, and individual support.
53 beds at the shelter.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. We have women, men, and kids who live with us for 30, 60, 90 days as they're transitioning to something else, to the next place in their life. All of them are homeless because of the violence in their lives.
And you can call, text at any time, 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
There's an advocate that is there to receive your call, to help you. You can call 414-933-2722 and tell us about the texting feature because this is new and it is so vital.
We added the text line during COVID because we realized that so many women, men, and children who are trapped in violence or in isolation, and not many of them are safe to make a phone call or comfortable making a phone
Even
call.
speaking the word help
Exactly.
is not an option.
So you can text it now in a way that might be safe. You might be able to go into the restroom, take a minute. Sometimes the abuser is monitoring everything. If you can get a minute and text a word of help, we can reach out and create a lifeline for you.
And getting out, leaving, that's just the first step.
It can be the first step. Some survivors choose not to leave right away. It's a process, and they have to plan for it, and they have to be thoughtful. Many things in life can be a barrier. We provide advocacy, and we help survivors navigate the range of choices, including whether or not they participate with the judicial system, law enforcement, or even engage in services for their children. We help survivors understand their options so they can make informed decisions for their own safety and well-being.
You also, I won't say treat, you embrace the soul. You help survivors live their lives
Right.
to heal.
I think the antidote to violence is love, literally, love. All of us survive because someone held space for us and loved us until we could heal. And I think at Sojourner, that's the most important thing we do. When people come through our doors, we love them, we give them dignity and respect. And then the other things we do is we provide hope and healing and advocacy services, but love is the critical ingredient of what we try to do for people.
And I'm going to just briefly go off script, although we're this is live, so everything is off script. But I want to ask you the youngest person that you've helped this year.
We've had babies born in the last 5 years. We've had 6 infants that have come into life while their mothers were living in shelter.
Wow. And the
with us.
oldest?
Oldest person we've ever served on the hotline, not this year, was 99, who called for help. And so we know that violence will stay with you, impact you. So it goes from, pre-birth all the way until people pass. It's a lifetime issue. We started serving men in our shelter in 2020, which was something we're very proud of. We have served over 10 men in our shelter in the first year who were homeless because of the violence in their lives. So.
Family Peace Center. It's in your name. And you have a great location. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we're on the corner of 6th and Walnut, where safety and hope and healing meet, where they intersect. We work in partnership with 14 co-located agencies that provide services. We wrap our arms around families. We work with domestic violence survivors, sexual abuse survivors, child abuse survivors, and survivors of trafficking. And for me, the Family Peace Center stands for the idea that we need each other. We need to be working in partnership. We're not going to solve this problem alone.
And peace is something you take for granted if you all have always had it.
Right.
But if you're in a situation where you are surviving, every moment
Right.
is about survival. Peace is something that it's
We chose the name Peace. Many of the centers that we are part of, we're part of an alliance, call themselves Family Justice Centers. For us, the word justice had too many interpretations. The word peace for us really was the direction and what we want to head in and what we want
And
families
what we
to
all
have.
want.
Exactly. We all want to belong, we want to be loved, and we want to live in peace.
We want to live in peace. And it proves the point that we are stronger when we work together. And this feels like a good time to thank our many supporters. Thank you for joining us tonight. Our sponsors, again, we see you. We are grateful. The businesses that have invested in Sojourner's work. We mentioned our amazing match sponsors, Argosy Foundation, Brewers Community Foundation, BMO Harris Bank, MGIC, and the Yabuki Family Foundation. In addition, we'd also like to thank Ernst & Young, Gruber Law Offices, Johnson Financial Group, Manpower Group, and the producers of tonight's program, Plum Media. We also thank Potawatomi Hotel and Casino and Zimmerman Agricultural Studios, who I understand designed the Family Peace Center.
They did. We're very proud of that fact. We're so very grateful for our many supporters.
So we're going to shift gears slightly.
I'd like to share a story that I find personally so inspiring. Anytime a survivor speaks their truth, it's incredibly inspiring. We have a young woman, Allie-Ann, is a survivor. She's an active member of our Voices group. Now, Voices is a group of survivors who belong to Voices. They give leadership and direction to some of our work at Sojourner. So we're very proud of this group. As I said, they're watching in tonight. Allie-Ann came to Sojourner a few years ago for support. And well, I think it's best for you to hear her story through her own words.
We met at university, and at the first time I remember it being at a barbecue. 3 months after we got married was the first time he hurt me. And I remember him slapping me and throwing me onto the ground. After he threw me down, he went back into the house. I remember my best friend who was there and one of his friends helped me up. I was in the middle of the road. I remember my best friend telling me right then that I needed to leave with her. I said, no, we're married, it's different, we're married, I can't just leave him. He didn't mean to do it, he's right. You know, he was only so angry because he cares about me so much. And I was just saying whatever I could to convince myself that it wasn't him, it was me. I remember waking up the next morning having bruises up and down my arms and scrapes, and I remember him apologizing to me and telling me he would never do it again, and I forgave him and I believed him. And I know when I look back at it now, years later, I know that it was in that moment that he knew he had complete control over me. He knew that I wasn't going to stand up to him, and he knew that he could get away with these things. So for the next 4 years that we were married, that physical abuse continued, and emotional, financial, sexual abuse. And I feel like I was kind of stuck, scared to leave. I was scared of being judged. I was scared of having a failed marriage. I was so blindly in love with this man that I couldn't see anything wrong with him. And I was so convinced that it was my fault. It was just my mindset at that point in time was, it's me, I'm the problem, I'm the one that's not doing things right, I'm the reason that he's acting this way. I think the very first moment that I started really realizing that the relationship wasn't normal and it wasn't right was not when I got pregnant, but when I gave birth. There was something about seeing my son for the first time that told me, I don't want my son to get hurt. I don't want my son to grow up to be like his dad. When I first made contact with Sojourner at the restraining order office, I knew they were there to help me file the restraining order. The only other thing I thought they were was a women's shelter. Sojourner has been a huge part of my journey. I think that if I would have never joined or taken the initiative to join that support group, I wouldn't be where I am today. Definitely that support group was the number one thing that really aided in my healing journey, because it just gave me that opportunity to connect with other women. It gave me an opportunity to feel safe and comfortable. Definitely something that Sojourner was very helpful with was understanding that I was going to heal on my own time and that there was no timeline to how long it was going to take me to heal. Something else that I've gained through Sojourner is certain friendships. These women now that I've become friends with, they've had similar experiences or similar pasts, so the connection we have is very unique but very strong. It's like we have that solidarity within each other. So summer of 2020, I was asked by an employee here at Sojourner to become part of the Voices Committee. I want to be this example for other women out there. I think healing is finding a way to not avoid what's happening to you, but to confront it face on and find a way to work through it. If I had to send a message to a person that was still in an abusive relationship, I would first and foremost tell them that they are strong, that they are not alone, that they're okay, that there's someone out here rooting for them. And I think that's something so hard to grasp when you're in that situation. So if I could share something with other women, it would be that we're out here. I am maybe the face that you're seeing right now, sharing my story and telling you that you're not alone. But there are so many of us here for you. There are so many of us that have been through this, have been where you're standing. And we know that you have the strength to move forward. And it's okay if that's not today. It's okay if that's a year from today, if that's 5 years from today. Just to know that you're not alone.
That is wonderful. And we know, Allie-Ann, that you were watching. Carmen, you Zoomed with Allie-Ann and the voices earlier this evening.
I did. It's incredible. Thank you so much, Allie-Ann, for speaking your truth. You are just such a shining, beautiful example of strength. Thank you for your courage. You made an important point tonight. Survivors find support and solidarity at Sojourner, and that support literally transforms lives.
Calling Sojourner is a big step, and I can imagine it can be scary, and I just love the way you wrap your arms, advocates wrap their arms around survivors, and they're seen, they're heard, they're cared for. And we have another video that really gets to the heart of how Sojourner serves our community. Let's watch together.
I've been here 18 years in this position. I think it's a privilege to do that. Being president and CEO, you're responsible for working in collaboration with amazing people who do incredible work every day. I grew up in a violent home, and so I know what it's like to lay in bed and listen to the sounds of fighting and anger and fear. I try to remember that place in everything I do because it informs what I'm doing in my daily work. We did a lot of envisioning about what we wanted the tone and tenor of the building itself to be. What do we want people to feel when they walk in the building, right? What are the words? Healing, comfort, sanctuary, safety, security. On a very hard day, survivors had to get on the bus or in the car and go to 5, 6 different places, right? After they've been hurt. And we said we should be able to change that. When violence happens in somebody's life, who's there? Who's at that intersection? And that's how we started to define the partners that needed to be in the building. Who needs to be there? The police, the district attorney's office, therapist. I tried to stay true to what my experience was as a kid and what I've heard from thousands of women about their lives and what they need when they're hurt. And I tried to stay true to that as we were walking the path to getting here. Because I've had a violent childhood, I stay pretty close to trying to stay in touch with the work. So I talk to people, I greet them, I want to hear their stories. We're here to love you, to respect you, and give you dignity. I had gotten a referral from one of the aldermen at the city. They said there's this person who's been hurt, and I told her to come and see you. And I happened to be walking by the door the day of the grand opening. And I opened the door and this young woman said, my name is so-and-so. And I said, oh, I've been waiting for you to call me. I'm so glad you're here. Within the next couple of hours, she had talked to the DA, she talked to an advocate, she understood what the process was going to be like. About a year later, I get a note on my desk and it said so-and-so. So I called her and I said, hi, and she said, I just want you to know that after the worst thing that happened to my daughter, I want you to know she had the best school year ever. And she and I and my family are doing so well because of what you did for us here at Sojourner. We're helping people unravel the hurt and harm that they're walking around with. When we help them heal that, it heals everybody else in their life. Last year we touched 12,040 lives and we had 91,000 contacts. So we're touching thousands of lives in this city. If you have violence in your homes, you're not going to have safe neighborhoods, you're not going to have safe businesses, you're not going to have safe people who can show up to work healthy and ready to be on the job. You're not going to get a world-class city if your neighborhoods are full of violence. So that's what Sojourner's trying to stand for. If you've been hurt, whether you're a man or a woman or a child, as a human being, you deserve dignity and respect, and we should be responsible for that as a community. And then we want to try to create more hope. I think that the building stands as a testament to what's possible against all odds. We've always stood for dignity, the dignity of people, the idea that people deserve to live in safety and security, that we have that fundamental right. I think there are thousands of people who would not have gotten out of violence if it had not been for the staff who work here. I see people all the time who say, 30 years ago I lived in your shelter, you saved my life. I think healing really requires time, love, and attention. So when somebody comes to you and says, I'm hurting, make space for them. This whole place, the way we talk to you, the way we greet you, it's to reflect to you that you have value as a human being. You deserve this space, and we're here to help you.
Every time I'm moved by your story and what you do, we're so grateful for you and for Sojourner.
You know, I'm one of many survivors. Alianne was one of the voices you heard tonight. So there was no such thing as a family peace center when I was a child and needed help. So I'm just honored and grateful to be part of a mission that is touching so many lives. This work is deeply personal for me. I often say, and I believe, that the antidote to violence is love. I use that word intentionally. Sojourner exists to tell survivors, as I said, you're not alone. It is not your fault, and we're here to help. We will walk every step of the way with you.
If you or someone you know is hurting, please call us right now. And if you want to help support survivors in our community, please make a gift. No gift is too small, and it will be matched thanks to our generous sponsors. All gifts made through midnight tonight will be doubled, so don't miss out on this amazing opportunity. If you have already made a gift, we thank you. And if you've not donated yet, please make a gift this evening.
You know, the pandemic forced us to cancel our largest fundraiser 2 years in a row. For decades, we've held a beautiful in-person event, a celebration really, to drive awareness and aid for survivors in our community. It's been just heartbreaking not to be able to gather on so many levels, but to not be able to gather and celebrate the courage we see in survivors.
I agree, and we're over the virtual events, but tonight has been wonderful. People, you tuning in, watching from all over Wisconsin and beyond, thank you, thank you, thank you. And this has been a truly unique way to come together despite being separated by COVID. And once again, we'd like to take this one step further. Let's join together and show our solidarity for survivors. So right now, if you have a candle or some kind of a light, a lamp or a flashlight, or your phone, we know everyone has a phone, turn on that flashlight. Let's shine a light to show support for our survivors.
Let your light shine.
And we're stronger together.
Together. Though the pandemic may keep us physically apart, we must stay connected and keep our light shining every day. We must be a beacon of hope, a light in the darkness for people who may be hurting.
Please make a promise to stay connected with people you care about during this challenging time. Call, text, connect, stay in touch, and let's keep each other safe. Thank you for joining us in this solidarity. But before we go, Let's take a look at some of your comments. Thank you for being active with us. We appreciate you, your fundraising, helping us to be stronger together. Anonymous, stronger together for sure.
I love, Alianne, you are my positive today and every single day.
Hashtag Sojourner Strong. Alianne, thank you for sharing your story. You're such an inspiration of hope for many. Comforting words, thank you, Alianne. And your message to all survivors is so priceless.
It is. As you're watching tonight, I want to remind you of the power you have in your own life to be a voice of hope. Someone, I guarantee you, in your life is hurting, isolated, and you could be the hope that opens that door for them.
And Alianne's story was, I was riveted, you know, because I felt the pain. I was there. You know, I felt that moment. No one imagines themselves becoming someone in a domestic violence situation, but it happens all walks of life.
Right.
There's no...
And before you know it, you could be in a circumstance, and it's so very critical that we remember the power we have,
And you've told me this, you've taught me this, is that the power that the abuser has is making the survivor, the person, feel like they're isolated.
Right.
And that they're alone.
Right. And there's no one here, no one's going to help you, it's your fault. You know, those messages, you're not alone, it's not your fault.
And that's why we're shining a light.
Exactly, exactly.
And our light is brighter. The more lights we bring together, the more we raise awareness. Hopefully, we're helping survivors step out and leave that situation, not only for themselves, but for their families, because it's generational.
Generational, absolutely. I can't tell you the kids who run through the hallway at Sojourner who are filled with joy and happiness. We are changing the direction of those children's lives.
And if you're tuning in right now, please don't go away, because at the end of this, we've got a very special treat. Speaking of the kids, but we won't give it away. But we do want to check in on our fundraising goal right now.
This is exciting.
This is exciting.
We've raised $73,244. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And this is what this means. The match goes until midnight tonight. So we're doubling that. That is awesome. So thank you, everyone, for your generosity, your gifts, help save lives. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And like I said, before we go tonight, we've got a special treat, a song composed and recorded by some of Sojourner's youngest clients.
Again, thank you for being with us tonight. Our work with kids is truly remarkable, and it's at the heart of preventing violence. If you want to stop violence, you have to be working with kids, helping adults heal, but you have to work with kids. Violence is a learned behavior, and family violence can be passed from generation to generation. We work with our young clients to teach them healthy, positive ways to communicate, how to overcome their obstacles and manage stress. We help them build hope, and hope is so powerful. This summer, we completed a 5-week program designed to use music composition to help heal trauma and to build hope and resilience. The kids who were aged 10 to 14 collaborated with staff from our children's program and H2O Community Development Corporation to write and create their very own song. It's called Unstoppable, and it's appropriately named. We thought it'd be a great way to close tonight. So listen to the lyrics, listen to these beautiful voices. They are our future, and their optimism is just so inspiring, so hopeful. They send the message that anything is possible.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank all of you. Thank the team at Sojourner for all that you do today and for future generations. Thank you for watching. Thank you for shining your light, for making a donation. We're unstoppable. Good night.
Good night.
Always focused, always ready on the job, keeping steady, making moves, paying dues, celebrate, throw confetti. I will be victorious, I will be so glorious. Gotta work hard for your dreams, it's laborious. Don't let haters take your shine, keep your goals on your mind, meditate, you'll be fine, make people people respect your time. Don't give up, keep on fighting, speak your mind, keep on writing, don't fall off, keep on writing, things work out, perfect timing. I can't be stopped, I can't be held down, I'm headed to the top, I always wear my crown, overcoming obstacles, nothing is impossible, might as well move on my way cause I'm unstoppable. I can't be stopped, I can't be held down, I'm headed to the top, I always wear my crown, overcoming obstacles, nothing is impossible, might as well move on my way cause I'm unstoppable.
You can be anything if you just TRI. Focus hard, do the work, then you can reach the sky. Don't give up, nothing's hard. Toughest part is the start. Have a heart and be smart. Know your role, do your part. Leadership is necessary. Go be bold, go be daring. Learning how to deal with change. Sometimes it's very scary, but we gotta do the work. Healthy food, then dessert. Try to heal instead of hurt. That's the way to heal the earth.
I can't be stopped, I can't be held down, I'm headed to the top, I always wear my crown, overcoming obstacles, nothing is impossible, might as well move on my way cause I'm unstoppable. I can't be stopped, I can't be held down, I'm headed to the top, I always wear my crown, overcoming obstacles, nothing is impossible, might as well move on my way cause I'm unstoppable.
I hope you're paying attention, that means you're actively listening. I hope you make a decision that make life a good living. I was sent on a mission to put myself in position. I got my votes and petition. They said you're no competition. You can go on and keep pushing, but it won't change your condition. You need to clean up your lenses so you can see what's the business. I give my haters the scissors. I'm way too cool like a wizard. I'm a boss January to the end of December.
I can't be stopped, I can't be held down, I'm headed to the top, I always wear my crown, overcoming obstacles, nothing is impossible, might as well move on my way cause I'm unstoppable. I can't be stopped, I can't be held down, I'm headed to the top, I always wear my crown, overcoming obstacles, nothing is impossible, might as well move on my way cause I'm unstoppable.